Hello, everyone. Hi, planner friends, and maybe even some budget friends. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is from the Peanut Gallery, also known as Sabrina. So today we are setting up my budget planner. I got this planner from TPC Nation. I think it's like the unstructured planner. I like it a lot actually because it's structured enough but unstructured where I can put in the actual things that I like to track and view for my budget. Some other budget planners are a bit too much and I don't use every aspect of them, and being the money saver that I am, if I'm going to buy a budget planner, I want it to be something that I'm going to use every aspect of. So, speaking of money saver, I figured today we can kind of talk about some tips and tricks of how I like to save money. Before I get too much into that, if you've never seen me set up one of my budget spreads and you want to hear more about how I set it up and what everything means and kind of why it looks the way it looks, you can check out my other budget videos, and I'll link the playlist down below, and I'll also do one of those cards in the corner things, so you guys kind of can see how that all works. But we'll go back to the main topic. I'm going to try to take a breath and slow down because I feel like I'm talking really fast. And before I get further into what I'm talking about, we'll do this. I'm gonna stop in between my tips, which I'm sorry if that's annoying to y'all, and tell you about various aspects in the kit, and where they're, or the kit, there's no kit, various aspects of what I'm using and where they're from. So I told you about where the planner is from, that washi, which I kind of love. I have no idea where it was from. I went to the TPC Las Vegas on location, which is like a planner sticker meetup. TPC's like the planners collaborative sticker planner group. So I went to their meetup in Las Vegas, and I loved it. There was a whole D-stash, essentially bucket. So I had brought some D-stash items. It seemed like a bunch of other individuals had brought D-stash items, and I snagged this washi. So I have no idea where it's from, but I love the color of it. I love the gradient of it. It seems like it's like actual washi, like this one's like a very thin washi. I've had washis that I sometimes buy from like planner shops and stuff, and I love them, but they're definitely a little like thicker or something. This one was pretty like thin, but yeah, that's where I got that from. So we'll go back to the quote unquote main topic, and that's gonna be like electricity saving tips. So if you know me, you know I'm a little bit of like a penny pincher. I'm a saver. I like to be try to be very smart about how I'm spending my money, and I like to know where my money's going, hence the budget planner. And just kind of being able to, plan ahead if I can. Now, do I necessarily plan ahead? Not really. I just know that I have money saved, so if something happens, I should hopefully be fine. But in terms of saving on your electric bill, especially during the summer months, which I know we're kind of nearing the end of summer, but I'm from Southern California, and it's August and September and even October, and sometimes all the way through December can still be very hot. There have been Christmases where you are wearing shorts and t-shirts because it's like 80 some degrees outside. So Southern California, it can be very hot. So electricity saving tips, just some personal ones that I do myself, is I kind of took the initiative. I think my electric company that I obviously pay my bill and everything through, sent an email and said something about, they'll send emails about energy saving tips and stuff like that. And they had mentioned peak hours. And I was like, oh, that's actually a really great idea. And it was like at the beginning when I had just moved into this place. And I was like, I should know those hours. So I would advise you to, it's probably on whoever your electric company is that you pay your bills through, it's probably on their website somewhere, and you can look up the peak hours for your area. I think it might vary depending on where you are, and everything like that. But it will, at least my company did. I'm assuming other companies would too. They give you hours of what on-peak hours are, off-peak hours are, and super off-peak hours are. So essentially, depending on when you're running like various electronic devices or just like electronic things and electricity through your home, it depends on how much that's going to cost you. So for example, for me and where I live, super off-peak hours start around midnight. So that's like the cheapest you can get, right? Is midnight till probably about, I would say, I think it's 6 in the morning. I have it written down on a whiteboard in the other room. I literally, y'all, have this written down in a place where I can see it and I can be very like aware and cognizant of it. Because sometimes I'm like, you know what? Do I want to do that right now? And we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, so for example, super off peak for me and where I live is a little bit after midnight. And like on peak hours are, again, where I live. It could be different where you are. On peak hours are around that time where like kids are getting off school, people are getting off work. It's that like 4 to like 9 o'clock time frame, right? So like that after work, after school time frame before you're, going to bed. Those are kind of more of a on-peak hours. So probably the most expensive time frame for your electricity. And then you have your off-peak hours, which is like that time frame where people are like literally winding down and starting to go to bed. So I'm assuming it's just based off how much electricity is being used at the time. And then you also have off-peak hours during just normal daytime work school hours. Probably partially because if it's daytime, you don't need lights on and things. But I'm just guessing. We don't know. I'm not the electric company, and I don't know their specific reasonings for it. But I do suggest that if you are considering having a cheaper electricity bill to know what those hours are, so then you can make decisions of when you want to do certain things. So I'll kind of go into some of the actions that I take now knowing what my hours are. So for instance, when I do laundry or run my dishwasher, I always try to make sure that they are full loads. I don't want to run a bunch of small loads. I'm, pretty lucky enough to have enough clothes that I won't do laundry for a couple weeks until my laundry basket is full. And I know that when I do laundry, it's going to be a full load. So that's, one thing. I also, the dishwasher, I wait until that's full because I'm one person. It will take me a couple days, sometimes a week, depending on what I make and how much I eat that week, to fill up that dishwasher. But again, I do try to make sure that it is a full dishwasher and I'm not just running small, like, loads just to get dishes clean. So that's two things. Not to mention, when I run both of those things, I try to personally run them during like off-peak hours. So I'll try to do it, the laundry, I usually try to do it during the week, during off-peak hours, so during the day, because it's a little bit cheaper to run my laundry during that time frame than if I were to run it when I come home in the evening at night. For the dishwasher, I I don't know, I realized it a couple months ago. I wish I had found it sooner. I will either run it during the day, or if I don't need those dishes and I can let them sit for a little bit longer, I will put on, I guess my dishwasher has like a 4-hour delay button. So I'll put that on so that I don't have to worry about it like around, because I'll be like, oh, it'll be like 6 o'clock, or, maybe 7, 8 o'clock when I'm starting to kind of clean up my kitchen, or I'm about to like wind down and go to bed. So I'm making sure that like kitchen's done. I'm making myself some tea, doing whatever to kind of just relax. And I'll be like, oh, I need to run my dishwasher. But that's technically still during my super like on peak hours. And I don't want to make myself pay more money for electricity to run my dishwasher. So I'll hit that 4-hour delay button so that it runs during the night while I'm sleeping. And as long as, that noise or whatever doesn't bug you too much, that shouldn't be too hard of a thing. So that's just a couple things, or 2 things that I do with my laundry and dishwasher. And then just the obvious lights and plugs. If you're not using something, unplug it. If you're not in a room using that light, turn it off. I will literally, if I'm not coming back into a bedroom, I will turn off the light. If I'm not in a specific room and I don't need that light, I'll turn it off. Like, wherever I'm going, I'll turn it off. And it's funny because Shane, I don't remember how long ago it was, but I had walked out of the bedroom and was doing, like, had gone into the kitchen or, like, the bathroom or something else. And he's like, did you just leave a light on somewhere? Like, you're always turning off lights. Did you just leave a light on? And I was like, no, I didn't. I mean, like, I had left it on, but, like, I was going back into the room to do something, so I wasn't going to, like, turn it off, turn it back on again. Which, I don't know if this is a myth or not, but I think they say that that takes more electricity than just leaving it on. But I don't know. I would say Google check that and fact check that, because I don't have an idea about that. But yeah, I am usually turning off all the lights. And I actually, when was it? In May, I took like a week-long vacation. And I was like cleaning my apartment, just trying to, like, when I came back, I wanted to make sure that things were clean and like everything was tidy and put away. Like, I wanted to come home to like a nice apartment. And so I like was doing all of those things, making sure everything was the way I would want it to be when I came back. And then I was like, why, like, I don't really use my toaster. Like, why is that plugged in? So I unplugged the toaster and I was like, I have this light in my room, but I don't really use it. So I like unplugged that. And then I always have, like, my phone charger and my laptop charger plugged in, because I'm constantly having to charge those items. And I was like, my charger for my phone came with me, but my laptop charger was, like, I wasn't bringing my laptop. I didn't need my laptop charger. And so I was like, we're just going to unplug this and we'll just have to plug it back in when I come back. So I basically unplugged certain things that I was like, I'm not going to be here for a week. This doesn't need to be plugged in. So like easy to get to lights or chargers that I just have for like easy use around the apartment and whatnot. So I unplugged those, but I again, I never use my toaster, so that stays unplugged until I use it, which is very rarely. So I would say go around your house, see if there's something that like it's next to a plug but you don't really use it. Just unplug it. It's not going to be that hard to plug it back in whenever you're going to have to use it, if you ever have to use it, like my toaster. So yeah, that's one of the things. Oh my god, this one's so great. So when I first found out about the peak hours, I was like, oh my god, I do not want to use any electricity during these like super on peak hours where like it's going to be super expensive and like it's fine. I don't need light. Again, these hours are like evening, nighttime, like after work hours where you're like making dinner, getting ready for the next day, relaxing, going to bed, what have you. And so I would pretty much just let the natural, whatever natural daylight would come into my apartment, come in, and it would be like practically like dark outside. And that was fine with me. Like, I was like, whatever, I'm gonna just like hang out. If I was like doing something that actually required light, I would try to do it where like the sun was still setting, but there was still light coming in. And then I also luckily got a Kindle. And so, because my Kindle's backlit and I don't need light for it, I would, and I still do that just for multiple reasons. One of the reasons being electricity, but I will choose to read sometimes, or a decent amount of the time, versus like sitting down and turning on the TV, because it is cheaper for me to read on my Kindle where I don't need light because it's backlit than for me to turn on the TV and watch a show. Side note though, the other reason why I try to choose to read versus watching the TV, other than just saving money, is the fact that sometimes I go, well, do I want to use my brain and like read, or do I want to just like veg out in front of the TV? And sometimes I want to veg out, and sometimes I want to read, and I feel like reading gives me somewhat of like the same like outlet and relaxation and just like getting out of your head and away from the things that you've been doing all day vibes that like TV would, but I'm like using my brain a little bit more because I'm reading. But yeah, that's the end of that side note. Some other little tricks and things that not tricks, but things that I'll do is I have like what is it called? A wax warmer. And I have waxes that I want to like use because they smell good and I bought them and what have you, but I don't want to turn on my wax warmer because it uses electricity. So I actually will, if I'm home during the day, because that's when it's the cheapest, that's when I'll put my wax warmer on. If I want to turn on something that smells good in like more of the evening time or the peak hours, I will light a candle. So something as small as that, I don't know if that's actually making a huge dent in my electricity bill, but one of the things that I always say is every penny counts. So if it's just a few cents that it's doing, that's fine with me. That's a few cents that can go towards stickers or planning or like whatever else I want to do. If I want to get my nails done, like those few cents will eventually add up to something. So yeah, that's just like one of the little things that I do. I'm honestly, most of these things is centered around peak hours, just because I saw it. They sent me an email and I was like, that's actually a great idea, and I just decided to, not that I had to like adapt my life much, but like kind of change my life a little bit to kind of match those hours to save me some money, because again, every penny counts. The other thing that I do is like charging, right? Like most people, right? We all have multiple devices that we charge. I have to charge my Kindle sometimes, I have to charge my phone, I have to charge my laptop, but I also have one of those like electric toothbrushes, right? You have to charge that every so often. I have a Clarisonic facial brush that I have to charge. So when I have to charge those things, just like my dishwasher, I will let those things, because sometimes they take a while to charge, like a few hours. I'll either have them go during the day during the off-peak hours, or I'll wait and I'll let them charge like overnight during the super off-peak hours, because it's slightly cheaper for them to charge at that time. And also because, right, like phone-wise, if I'm sleeping, I don't need my phone. Like, I don't need it to be accessible and like for me to like move and go places and do whatever with. Like, it's the middle of the night, it can charge, it's fine. for my toothbrush, my Clarisonic, I don't like, sometimes I'll have them charged during the day while I'm at work, but because by the time I leave for work, come back from work, like it kind of bridges into those on peak hours, so I don't really like that too much. But I try to do it during times where it'll be cheaper for my electricity bill, and B, those times are usually the times that I don't really need those devices anyways. So that's one thing I do as well. And then so the AC and the heater. Look, my situation for this is going to be probably a lot different than some of yours. I grew up in a household where, though we had working AC and a heater, we almost never used them. So when I moved out on my own, I think I could tell you, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've used the AC or the heater. And I've been here for over a year and a half now. It'll be 2 years, I think, in like November, December. So yeah, I don't use my AC, I don't use my heater because I am just like my father and I want to save my money. And I don't want to have to pay for that because that's going to be expensive. Granted, I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment, so it's probably not going to break the bank, but that's more money that I want to spend, especially when like I live in like San Diego, so it's fairly, like, even though it's hot, it's fairly cool. I'm lucky enough to where, lucky and also unlucky enough to where my apartment is a very cool and cold apartment. So even in the summer, it does get a little muggy, it does get a little hot sometimes, but it's not unbearable where my apartment faces and where it sits. Like, I literally, as you walk up to my apartment, you can feel the temperature change. So in the summertime, I don't have to worry about it too much. I'll just open like the window or the sliding door or what have you. And that kind of will help to kind of circulate the air a little bit. I also have like a fan in the bedroom, but I don't think I've ever turned that on either. So again, it's just me. So if I get too hot, I just don't move. I just lay somewhere and don't move, and eventually I cool down. Drink some, iced tea, cold water or something. It helps. It's fine. And then heater-wise, of course, I don't use that either. Again, I was raised in a house where we just didn't do those things. So I know how to survive that. You just pile on the blankets, you take a hot shower, and then you throw on your your warm clothes and you layer, and then you put a blanket on. And you make sure you have socks on, you walk around with your chanclas, like you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So that's kind of how I survive the seasons. And kind of a funny story, Shane was over, because again, my apartment is, in the summer it's nice because it's cool, in the winter it does get really cold. Not as cold as, other places, because I am in Southern California, but yes, Southern California cold, okay? Shane was over, and I have this, I want to say it's probably like a twin-sized electric blanket. And he was like, hand me that, electric blanket. I want to use the electric blanket. And this was, when I had kind of just moved in. And I was like, no. And he's like, why not? I was like, because I don't want to pay for the electricity for that electric blanket. Just get another blanket. You'll be fine. Put some layers on. And he's like, no, just give me because he's a spender and these things don't, affect him as much. He's like, it's fine. You're not going to break the bank. You can pay for it. I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to give you the electric blanket. And he's like, seriously? And I was like, fine. And then I go, because I knew this would make him not want the blanket. I go, do you know who I got that electric blanket from? And he's like, no, who? And I was like, one of my ex-boyfriends. And he's like, I don't want it anymore. I was like, that's what I thought. Here's another blanket. Because I knew. That's how much I didn't want to turn on my heater. That's That's just who I am. It is what it is. Um, I think my last, I want to say it's my last tip. My last tip for you guys is I feel like meal planning and meal prepping can kind of really help with, some of the electricity and everything. Versus like if you make like a big batch on like 1 to 2 days a week versus like cooking food every single day, I think that could also really help. Obviously, that would depend on what your appliances that you're using, what utilities they use. But I do feel like meal prepping could really be beneficial and help a lot for those types of things as well. So that is my personal last electricity tip that I could think of. I don't know if there's anything else that I might do that I just can't recall. I did try and make a list of everything that I do, but I can't promise you that's everything. But yeah, that's my tips for you guys. I did realize that I did not stop to tell you what other items I'm using in this planner. So from what I could see on screen right now, both the date dots and those date covers that you are currently seeing are from Avalon and Ninth. I am a PR for Avalon and Ninth, so I will leave my PR code down at the bottom, and I will also try to remember to enter it in on the screen so you guys can see it. It's Sabrina15, and you can save 15% when you order from Avalon Ninth, as well as get my cute freebie that's on there as well. So that's where those are from. Those boxes, and I could be wrong on this, but I believe those boxes are from Beyond Paper Flowers from one of her freebies that I had. The pens that I'm using, they are Paperage pens that I bought from TJ Maxx. I think I got them for like maybe $10 or something. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I believe some of the other, I think the other date covers I used, that were the green ones. Those, I believe, are from the sticker patch. I guess I should have grabbed my planner before I sat down to do this voiceover so I could tell you where the things are from. I don't remember where the rent due sticker is from. That's on the my monthly layout page. But I believe the bill due stickers that I used were various sticker patch bill due stickers. That sounds about right to me. Is there anything else that I am missing? I don't know. I think that might be it. Tweezers are from Perfect Prints Co. If you have any questions about how I set up my budget, check out the other budget videos, and then feel free to ask in the comments. I also have an Instagram page. I will leave the handle down below, but it's the same as this YouTube, so it's at From the Peanut Gallery. I post after the pen spreads. I am trying to post stories now, and I'm also will post books that I'm reading and sometimes other random things, every once in a while a puzzle. But yeah, mostly after the pen spreads, I do some fun planner reels, stuff like that. So I would suggest that you check that out. Click the notification bell on this video so you know when I post a video, which is every Tuesday. Like, comment, and subscribe. And is that all the influencer things I'm supposed to do and ask? I think it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, those no spend stickers are from the sticker patch. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. and I'll see you in the next one.